Ellis Beefeaster's Radio Aircheck and Classic TV channel.
WLS Music Radio at 3:55. A big break may be in the offing in the Iran situation. Bob Conway reports.
There are reports this morning that some of the hostages who have been held inside the U.S. Embassy in Iran for the past 11 days may soon be released. CBS News quotes a high Iranian government official as saying that women and blacks will be freed, but that white male hostages will continue to be held. And in Tehran, newsman Peter Jennings says he has received similar information.
ABC News has been told by a senior member of the Revolutionary Council here that women who are hostages in the American embassy will be released within the next couple of days. Mr. Ghazpazadeh gave no reason for their reported release, but the news came in a discussion of the hostages' welfare. They have complained about their treatment, Mr. Ghazpazadeh said, and he mentioned particularly the fact that they are sometimes blindfolded. Mr. Ghazpazadeh said any mistreatment would be stopped immediately. The youths who are occupying the embassy have said repeatedly they will take no instructions which don't come directly from Ayatollah Khomeini. Mr. Ghazpazadeh, the director of Iranian radio and television, has been a close aide of the Ayatollah since he was in exile. There are believed to be 7 women who are hostages.
In Washington, the State Department says it has contacted the U.S. Embassy but has not been able to confirm or deny those reports that some of the hostages are going to be freed. Meanwhile, the U.S. has been moving toward a tougher stand on the Iranian situation. Secretary of State Vance has flown to New York to urge that the United Nations Security Council not hold a meeting which Iran wants and not consider Iranian demands for an international tribunal to indict the Shah and force his extradition. Last night, the administration recalled Special Envoy Ramsey Clark, who'd been sent to negotiate with the Iranians. He'd been waiting in Turkey because the Iranians had refused to see him. And there are reports surfacing now that the deposed Shah may leave the U.S. for Mexico as soon as 10 days from now. In some other news this morning, the Ralph Nader Health Research Group is charging that a government study shows the lenses which some cataract patients have been getting to save their sight can be dangerous. Dr. Sidney Wolf of the Nader Health Research Group says that one type, known as the interocular lens, is especially suspect.
There are problems with how well it corrects the vision, problems with dangers of it leading to reoperation, and yet it is being widely mass-marketed in a way that really makes guinea pigs out of a lot of senior citizens.
Dr. Wolf claims that some of the plastic lenses do not improve the vision of cataract victims as much as they should, and that sharp edges on some of those lenses actually pose a threat to sight. Striking teachers in the Argo Summit District number 104 have approved a new one-year contract and will be back in their classes today. A spokesman says the teachers voted 52-4 last night to accept that contract, which gives them an 8.5% salary increase. Students had been out of classes since October 24th in the district. Reports are that at least 8 of the 16 days which have been missed will be made up. Chicago School Superintendent Joe Hannon continues to meet with officials of 2 major banks in an effort to bail the school district out of a financial crisis. Hannon met yesterday with officials of the Continental Bank and the First National Bank of Chicago in hopes of obtaining $120 million in loans. Those negotiations will be resumed today. The crisis began on Tuesday when the Moody's Investors Service dropped the district's credit rating to the lowest possible level. Financial experts say that move made it likely that the school district will not be able to sell more than $120 million in notes next week to pay off some debts. Congress is considering aid to financially ailing Chrysler Corporation. The administration proposes $1.5 billion in loan guarantees. A House Banking Committee vote is expected on that proposal to make Chrysler set up a stock option plan for employees. But a Chrysler official says this could dilute the company's stock, making it less saleable. The president's bill to contain hospital cost increases goes to the House floor today. The measure would set guidelines for increases in hospital expenditures. If a hospital exceeds the guidelines, mandatory federal controls would be placed on its charges for some services. Officials in the city of Winooski, Vermont, say they are seriously considering putting a plastic dome over their entire town. That dome would have to cover an area of 850 acres. Winooski's Director of Community Development, Mark Tigan, explains why.
It's been inspired by the idea that
consultants have suggested there's upwards of 90% fuel savings possible over a year, over a basis of a year. It's also been inspired by the scare given the Northeast in terms of availability of fuel oil.
Tigan says that a dome over Winooski, Vermont is still a long way off. It's still subject to further study, especially as far as cost and construction methods are concerned. WLS Sports in the NBA last night. The Bulls were beaten by Washington 118-105. At the stadium, Vancouver beat the Blackhawks 5-2. WLS weather after this.
Crippled children and adults are able to rebuild their lives with the help of Easter Seals. But Easter Seals can accomplish only what you make possible. Give to the Easter Seals.
WLS, getting it set for Chicago.
WLS weather, cloudy and warmer this morning, partly sunny and warmer later today, a high of 52. Right now, the WLS temperature, 40 degrees. This is Bob Conway.
Music Radio WLS.